Joined Kian Ward, joint head of media, during the Stonewall's Rainbow Laces campaign. We're here to talk about his experiences in the LGBTQ plus community and talk about his experiences within football. So first, Kian, tell us about your background before you open your gay.
That was a good intro, by the way. Background before I was gay. Well, for me, I came out as bi, firstly in year 9 or year 10 in school, can't really remember. It's kind of one of those things that you kind of you block out, I think, a lot, because I think you grow up and you think you're meant to be naturally attracted to girls, whatever like that. That's the norm and stuff like that. And so you kind of push it down and you suppress it and stuff like that, and you force it kind of away, and you think it's wrong, and you think you're different, you think you're a bit weird. I think is a good way of describing it. It's certainly how I felt during those couple of years where I was kind of discovering who I was in theory, and going through that kind of phase. But yeah, I came out to people in school in year 9 or year 10, I can't remember. It was around just after Christmas, I think. And yeah, so that was about 5, 6, 7 years ago now. So yeah, quite a long time ago. But yeah, it was a difficult period. Come out as bi, and then it came out as gay probably a few months later, if I remember rightly. But yeah, it was an interesting period. Came out to a friend who screenshotted it and stuck it on Facebook, and that was how my entire school found out that I was gay. So yeah, that was, or found out I was bi, gay, but eventually led to that. But yeah, it was difficult. That was interesting and a difficult period for me. But yeah.
As you said, you were openly gay for a long time to those around you at work, at Concord, with your mates as well from school and university, but you still hid it from your family. What was the reason?
I'm not really sure, and I think it's a difficult one, because I think a lot of people, you're scared of what your family are going to say. I think that's the biggest thing. You're worried that, especially people who know me know, and Leachy and Lewis and you and stuff know how close I am with my grandparents, especially. So that was a big fear, was telling them. And the grand scheme of things, they just did not care. And maybe it's a regret that I took so long to tell them, and stuff like that. But that's something that I have to move on from, because I'm quite happily open now. But I think it was just, I'd quite like it being my own little thing, my own kind of private life. It was kind of a thing where I was private. Me and my family are quite open. We're quite an open family. Open about kind of just life, what's going on around our own lives, stuff like that. And I think I just quite liked having that bit about me that was not really a secret, but just kind of I could keep that to myself for a bit. And I think that's kind of why I didn't tell anyone really, family wise. They all had their suspicions, they always do. But yeah, I think that's probably why, the best reason why I kept it, which I'd quite enjoyed having that part of my life that was separate from them.
A few months ago you did finally come out to your family and Brenda.
Brenda. Hi Nan.
Was it a weight off your chest?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I like I said, I regret taking so long to tell them, to be honest with you. It was just how I did it was probably, I regret how I did it, but it happened. I got really, really drunk and stuck it in a family group chat, and that was it. That was how I came out to my family. Which, I always prepared in my head. I had this image of how I was going to tell my family and stuff like that, but that was the easiest way. And I think my nan called me the morning after, and just said, "Oh, I don't really care. You still love you and all that stuff." And I think she said, "Oh, I had an inkling." That grandparent thing. And I think my granddad said something similar. I think then he just asked if I was coming to watch the West Ham game with him on the telly at the weekend. It's as normal as that. But yeah, it was a massive relief, a massive step off my chest. Like I said, I've been out to people who are at Concord, to all my friends, the football clubs I played for and stuff like that. Always known I'm openly gay, and have been so welcoming and inclusive of it. And in the people that have been around my family have done so well to keep it, me being gay, at least the first time, a secret. And I'm obviously really thankful for that. But it was just a massive relief off my chest to get it off and to be kind of open with myself. So I'm here at football and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, you did receive homophobic abuse last year. Can you just explain what happened?
Yeah, that was a really difficult period, and it was one that really, I went through a difficult phase, to be honest with you. But it was over Twitter. It was a guy I know who the guy is. Obviously, those who know me and know my background, I've brought up in Dartford. Grew up as a Dartford supporter and stuff like that, and to receive homophobic abuse from someone that I've known, that I've gone to watch Dartford games with, and knows who I am and stuff like that, was a really difficult period, and it was something I really struggled with. I went through a phase. It was early in January of this year, first few days of January, and I do have to praise, the police get a lot of, criticism, stuff like that at the minute, but when it came to that, Essex Police, which was Keith Baker, who's Southend fans will know probably, and then at Kent Police as well, they dealt with it so quickly, constant phone calls checking in how I was doing, people like Lewis, who's over there walking for some reason on the middle of the pitch, I think being nosy, Jack Jr., Leachy, stuff like that, even Searchy, obviously he left us a few weeks ago, just checking in, constantly asking how I was doing, and for a bit I was scared to attend football games, especially the Dartford away game, which was at the end of January. That was my first game back, I think, and I was scared to attend football games. I was scared to attend that one because my family were going to that one as well, because we all lived outside of the rivers. My family were going to be at that game as well if anything happened, and that was how the big fear there was that was how they'd find out I was gay. And luckily nothing did, but that was a big scare for me, was attending a football game again. It did really play on my mind. I went through a big batch of mental health issues for a good few months, and struggled a lot with a lot of stuff, a few breakdowns and stuff like that. Being up in Sheffield as well, away from family and stuff like that, was difficult during that period. But yeah, it was difficult, and it was probably the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. I don't want to experience it ever again.
How did you overcome it with the people? A lot of people at Concord supported you through it, and you said Kent Police, but mentally, obviously, it must have been a really difficult time for you.
Yeah, really difficult. I'm not sure how I overcame it, to be honest. It was using the people like Lewis and stuff like that, and Georgia, his missus, and Junior, Leachy, and stuff like that. The players, well, like we've over the last, it's my third season here, 3 years. We've had a really good group of players that have kind of come in and stuff like that, and those that have left and stuff like that have been really good. And like Ryan Blackman checking in constantly, and even still does check in now with me and how I'm doing, how I'm up at uni and stuff like that. Pollock's always really good. Jaden, my centre back, has always been really good and was really supportive during that period too. And I just think it was the support of people around the football club here, especially, that got me through that period. And yeah, and it helped me since things have happened ever since. Lewis has been there as a kind of a shoulder for support, and a pillar for support, which is really, really important, really helpful. You helped me get through that. Just chatting and engaging with me, asking how I'm doing and stuff like that. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it's really appreciated. But I think it was just, like I said, a really difficult period that I don't want to go through again. But I know that there's a support network now. People here at Concord, people who at the time were at Swanley Football Club, which is the team I used to play for. That was my first experience being gay in football, was with them and stuff like that. And I know I've got that supportive crew behind me now, and of course my family.
We've just spoken about your mental health in that point, but as you said, you've been openly gay since secondary school. Have you suffered with mental health over the years due to the fact that you're gay, you're worried what people might think, or you're not out to your family?
Yes and no. I think it's played a part, especially those bits where I was suppressing it and holding it back. And then I think the big thing is that a lot of people maybe don't understand is that being gay or being part of the LGBT Q+ community is that you are constantly coming out to people. You're never not going to come out to people. I've just started a new job up in Sheffield. I like to come out to the team. I come out to the team I work with. Come out to people at university, come out to lecturers, stuff like that. You constantly have to be. If you want to be as open and transparent as I am with it, then you have to. It's a constant battle, I suppose, with your head to tell people, because what's to say that I could come out to someone and then all of a sudden I get a warrant of or not a warrant, but just a bombardment of homophobic abuse. And there's a constant worry, and I think that'll be a constant worry in my head for a long time, because you never know what's going to happen. And I've been lucky that I surrounded myself with really good people that could not care less, and stuff like that. But yeah, he's maybe not had a massive effect on my mental health, because I've had mental health issues, but I think it's a constant in the back of your head there, worrying what's someone going to do. What is it? A few weeks ago I refereed a game for Swanley Sundays. Just helping them out, and I needed the money. And one of their players called one of the Swanley lads the F word. And obviously that's, to be fair, you couldn't have said it in front of a worse referee, because he was stood like as far as the camera is from me, and I just set him off immediately. And I think, dealing with stuff like that, and that was really good there. So I had the opposition and Swanley both agree with that decision, both behind it. But well, fair enough, we understand. I get that's unacceptable. And that player then got rid of him from their football club and stuff like that. So little thing like that was really good. But yeah.
Over the years, the LGBTQ+ community has become stronger and more promoted, and I feel like it's a much more a better environment now than it was a couple of years ago. How does that make you feel?
Oh, amazing, especially in sporting context. I mean, football's always been a really difficult one to be gay, and I think you look at like rugby union. You've had a few out players in rugby union a long time before football. And we've come a long way in football since Justin Fashanu, who's the ex-Norwich player who passed away a good number of years ago. And now you've got the likes of Josh Caveo down in Australia. Jake Daniels, I think he's like 17 and took the courage last year to come out at 17 years old to the world and stuff like that, which I think it takes incredible courage from him, because football is such a volatile game. It can turn you like that. And how far it's come, and these campaigns like the Rainbow Laces stuff is really good. Players buying into it today. I think Pollock's wearing a rainbow armband, the players wearing rainbow laces, stuff like that. It's really good. And I think it makes being gay a lot more easier. Well, I wouldn't say frowned upon, because I don't think I've ever frowned upon it. And I know, obviously, some people probably will, because I know people who are still in a closet, as to speak, and haven't come out, and because they're worried about their family, because their family are quite openly homophobic and stuff like that. And it's slowly getting there as a world, as a community, and obviously there's big worries about kind of what's going on in the world, like World Cup in Qatar. I think it's illegal to be gay or a member of my community there, and so why is that World Cup being hosted there? But that's a whole different ball game and stuff like that. But it's especially in this country, I think it's becoming a lot easier to be. It's not easier, but a lot more open and less of a thing that people should be worried about if you're gay when you come out to people. We have so many prides. I went, Craig Shipman, who's obviously left us this week, took me to my first pride in the summer, to Brighton Pride with his family, which was absolutely mega. And I don't think if you said 5 years ago that if I was working in football, and B, like the head coach or whatever would be taking me to Pride. It's something that just doesn't cross your mind. And Shippo knows. I spoke to him last night about how grateful I am for him and his family that they did that for me. And there's little things like that have really helped.
As we're doing this interview for the Stonewall's Rainbow Laces campaign, for those who might not understand it or get what it's all about, what is it?
It's designed to. It's not just specifically football. It's sport in general. So it's about making sports inclusive for everyone. Obviously, we talk about it in football context because we're a football club. But in football context, obviously, it's been around for a while now. I think at least I've known it for at least 5 years, probably longer. They do a campaign towards the end of October, where they deck out basically football grounds in rainbow. You have rainbow corner flags, rainbow armbands, lace stuff like that. It's just about promoting inclusivity in football, and it's slowly getting there. I mean, one day hopefully there won't be a need, like I said in my programme notes, there won't be a need for a campaign like Rainbow Laces, because it just won't be needed. People just won't care. But you can go on Twitter, and I saw something, Notts County, which is a big National League club, big former Football League club, tweeted about the Rainbow Lace stuff they're doing this weekend, and they had a warrant of homophobic abuse underneath it. I think is it Macaulay Langstaff, their top goal scorer, that people telling him to smash into the corner flag like Jamie Vardy did at Sheffield United. And obviously Vardy, that wasn't a hate crime, as to speak, but it's just a spur of the moment thing. And you look at, I look at Exeter City socials quite a lot, and there's a lot of homophobic abuse under there as well, which is sickening. So really, that's what you have to do, educating those people and telling those people what it's about, and those are the people we have to reach out to, because like you, Lewis, Smallsy, the players, all that kind of stuff that are in the football club, they know what it's about. They know it's not a taboo subject or anything like that. They're open with it. Smallsy's decking out rainbow laces today. Leach has got rainbow laces on. Lewis has too. Like that, everyone's buying into it at this football club, and the fans will too as well, which is great.
As you said, Craig Shipman took you to your first Pride, and then players today wearing rainbow laces, Aaron Pollock wearing the captain's armband. Since you joined this club, you always made sure that the LGBTQ plus community was promoted and something that everyone should be proud of. With these players who aren't necessarily gay, but they're taking those steps to make not only you feel comfortable, but everyone around them feel comfortable. It must be a great feeling. Oh yeah, like I said, so I joined 3 years ago, something like that, and ever since then, it's been the most inclusive, welcoming environment I think I've ever experienced, and something I don't think I would have ever experienced in football. But I've got players that are, Jaden's leg break and is hopefully back in a couple of months. But he messaged me last night, so this is your day. I was like, well, it's not. And stuff like that. He wants a pair of laces, even though he's not playing. He wants to wear rainbow laces on the sideline and stuff like that, which means a lot. And the players are, what I've always said was so good about the players especially, is that they want to know about, they ask questions. They want to be educated on it, what it's like being gay, first and foremost, the experience of I've had being gay. Then also what it's like being gay in football, and what those. And I've had those open conversations with people like Danny Green, who left last week. Ryan Blackman's had them with me, Jaden's had them with me. Painey, when he was here, would have had them with me and stuff like that. And there's, we've had some really good players that have done that and really bought into it.
and stuff like that. And, you go through Scopesy and Minch when they were here, and then Searchy and now Smallsy. Like they're all the managers are bought into it as well and are so open to it. And everything about it, Jane, Lewis, Junior, Senior, and yourself, Leachy, everyone constantly welcoming. And it's taken a while to get to a place where we can actually put on something like this weekend, where we've decked out the programme, which is what you've done, the graphics on socials, which again is what you've done, the badge on socials, which is what you've done. But things that we've got to that place, and I'm incredibly grateful, and will always be incredibly grateful for this weekend especially. This weekend will be, like I said, Shippo taking me to Pride, amazing, that's an incredible experience. A first team coach for a football club taking me to my first ever Pride. There aren't many football clubs around with that kind of experience. And something like this today, I'll be incredibly grateful going forward. It might be a day that I probably won't forget for a long time, just because of how inclusive it's been and how slowly we've got there, and we're finally there. We're doing something like this, and hopefully it's a recurring theme for us. Next year we'll do it, and so on, so on.
As you said, what are the next steps? Being part of the LGBTQ plus, and to see it more as a normality than a difference.
You're struggling with the acronym. That's a hate crime. No, I think the steps we're taking as a community are there. Obviously, like you look on TV shows now, I think Dance on Ice in the Vivian, who's a drag queen, is dancing on Dance on Ice and stuff like that. Little things like that just are becoming a norm on TV, becoming a norm in the media. Strictly and Dance on Ice are the big two, because obviously they're couples. I've had two lads, two ladies, whatever you want to, and that things like that. Just putting that in front of the media and stuff like that is amazing. And stuff like that, and I think that's always been really good. And I think in football terms, it's about constantly calling out poor behaviour. When I went through the homophobic abuse, we called out the behaviour. Lewis was immediately on the phone to Dartford Football Club, and Dartford Football Club were immediately on the phone to Lewis, sorting it out, dealing with it. And that's the approach the football club needs to take. Is with all forms of discrimination, not just homophobia, with all forms of discrimination, is dealing with it like that, because that's how you stamp it out. And that's the importance of campaigns like this, and the importance of football in general. It is a game for everyone. And it's important that you stamp the things out as quickly as possible. And we've done a really good job of that. We haven't, apart from that film I experienced in January, that's the only homophobia I've ever experienced. And I've personally attacked for me experience in football, and supported all the way through it. Still am supported, and I'm incredibly grateful.
I know I speak for everyone at the club and myself, but I think you should be really proud of yourself.
Thanks.
For what you have to go through, and you should be proud of yourself the way you promote things. So thank you for the interview.
Cheers, you were good at that.
Cheers, man, I appreciate that.